Well, we had a fun morning on Good Morning America. Talk about your duels. We saw Meghan McCain. We also saw Bristol Palin. This is, first of all, Meghan McCain on Sarah Palin.
I respect her as a feminist, a Republican feminist, and going out there and working for women, especially Republican women. It's no secret that I'm more socially liberal than she is, but I'm here to say that two different kinds of Republican women can work together for the same cause.
I heard you say that part of the reason you wanted to do Dancing with the Stars was to get out of Alaska for a little bit. True?
True statement.
Why?
Get out of the drama there for a while. Go do something fun.
And we'll see your mom.
Yeah, she'll be here.
You know, it's a good thing that there's no drama on Dancing with the Stars. So I'm glad it's a drama-free environment.
And now that Sarah Palin's going to be there, clearly we're
no drama
for the balance of it.
But we are drama-free here.
Indeed.
With Dan Balz, who's also drama-free.
Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars, Washington Post, Post-Politics. Dan, you've been on the road a lot this year. You've been in a lot of these places where I'm sure Anna and Glenn are polling. What are you seeing out there from voters, listening to these guys go back and forth about a choice versus a referendum election?
Well, I think Glenn's point is important, and that is that because the president is going to be in office another 2 years, this is much more an election, I think, of what people want in terms of checking the Obama agenda rather than an embrace of a Republican agenda. I mean, everything we see suggests that people have not fully bought into the idea that this is a Republican Party that they embrace, that they agree with. But nonetheless, the real issue on the table is, are the policies of the Obama administration working? Should there be some check and balance against that over the next 2 years? And I think framing it that way does give the Republicans an advantage, clearly.
And you see the Democrats, and I think Anna talked about this rather bluntly, but you hear a lot of complaints privately as well about the fact that the White House is out there talking about Iraq today, the Middle East tomorrow. These are issues that are not likely to swing elections. Does the White House strike you in terms of its messaging as fully engaged in 2010 at this stage?
Well, I think they are engaged in 2010, but the nature of the presidency is that there are, the world affects what they're doing, and they have to deal with that. And the Middle East peace process has been a difficult thing for them to get re-engaged through the course of the first months of the Obama presidency. They now have an opportunity to do that. They have to seize that moment. They have to try to move that forward. Similarly with Iraq, I mean, I think in many ways this is a way for the president to say to a liberal base which is somewhat disaffected or disillusioned, I kept a big promise. I ran on this and I have delivered on this. It doesn't mean we're out of Iraq, but nonetheless, I'm keeping those promises to you, and so you should remember that as you look toward November.
So where do you think we're going to see the president then in this election? Obviously, as Anna was saying, we're not talking about him a lot in our ads. We're not talking about anything with Washington. He obviously doesn't just sit in the White House for the next 2 months. I mean, what do you think he can do to actually help his party?
I think the dilemma for the White House is, on the one hand, a lot of these Democratic campaigns and operatives want him to do something about the economy or talk about the economy. So he's got to be out there, delivering a message. Second, presidents always are able to raise money. I mean, that every candidate, whether they really want to be embraced by the president, would like the money that the president can bring. So we know that he'll do a lot of fundraising this fall. He'll do those things. But, this is not going to be like the Barack Obama of 2006, who was able to go anywhere in the country. Yeah. Red state, blue state, conservative district, liberal district. People wanted him in. Democratic candidates wanted him in. That's not the case this year.
And briefly, Dan, we saw his address yesterday on the economy. It seemed a little forced. They needed to go out there and say something. Not a lot of new ideas out there either.
Well, the reality is there is nothing large enough to really move the economy at this point that could get through Congress.
Right.
So they're stuck in terms of policy and legislation. So in one way or another, they have to try to talk up public confidence.
All right, Dan Balz, Post Politics. We appreciate you being here. Thanks. That does it for this edition of Top Line. Check us out on Twitter. It's twitter.com/Rick Klein, twitter.com/Amy E. Walter. If you see John Carl out there roaming the country on assignment, give him our best, will you? Young Guns. I think those guys are great.
I know. They're going to...
Emilio Estevez is our guest.